Good morning.
Morning.
I am so thankful to have been invited by Ms. Elslip to come to speak to you today. Some of you are the most informed people that others would get to meet, and that's what the Tea Party is all about. As she mentioned, I'm Felice Peak. I bring greetings to you from Raleigh. I am the president of the Wake County Republican Women there, and one of my goals is to pull them into activism. And I got interested in the Tea Party because of the health care bill. As you know, that was when the spark started to fly. My husband is a surgeon, and I am a nurse anesthetist by profession. And he and I took apart that bill. He took 1,000 pages, and it took us about 3 days. I took 1,000 pages. It took me about 3 days, and we wrote down notes, and we did. And it has nothing in it about health care, and nothing at all about care. It's all about taxes and who will pay and losing your liberty. So that's why we have to continue to fight, because they sell it as a good thing, but it's not such a good thing. The Tea Party, taxed enough already, got started because the citizens, we the people, and it's hard to follow Ben Franklin. He did such a good job. But the Tea Party started in the essence of the Tea Party back in Boston, when they were being taxed too much from England and did not have self-governance. And we have lost some of our chutzpah, if you will, for being individuals, because it is about the individual. We have never been about the collective. That's what has made America great. We have the only document that says that our rights come from God Almighty, not from man. That our rights cannot be taken away because they're God-given. Man can give and take away rights. That's what makes America different. That's what sets us apart. And we have a government now that's sort of putting America on the same plane as every other country. Nobody's good. We're one of the best. Have you noticed our president always says, we're one of the best. Our military's one of the best. He's putting everything on the same plane. And that is the change in language. And that's what we are hearing. It's not so much that we have to recognize what's being done, but we're having a language change. And that is the difference. We are the best nation because we were founded on godly principles. We are the only nation that was done for that. Do we have some bad history? Sure, but we've tried to correct it. And we're the only country that's tried to correct it. We are still the only country where freedom and liberty does reside. But we, the people, have to continue to stand for freedom and liberty. Freedom and liberty, they're two different things. I know people like to use them coinciding, and they like to use them as the same. But freedom, liberals like freedom. They don't mind freedom because they like to do what they want to do, dare you to say anything to them, live any kind of way in front of your children, tell your children anything in your government schools. But they don't like liberty. Because liberty, it means absence of coercion. That means that because they threaten you, you have the freedom to be away from them if you like. That's what they don't like. They want you to stand there and accept whatever they're doing. But if you decide to leave, they want to say, you're racist, you're separatist, and then they deny you liberty. But liberty is the absence of coercion, and that's what America was founded on. Our taxation for entitlement programs and to help people has no longer become compassion. Once government is telling you what your money is going to go for, it's compulsion. It's no longer compassion. We are the most compassionate nation because of our Christian foundation. We are the givers of the world. We give because it is in our hearts to give so. But the government wants to tell you, well, we'll confiscate your money, your hard earnings, and we'll do good with it. That's coercion, that's compulsion. And at that point, we have lost our liberty. And the Tea Party, you all, we are standing against that. Recently in the news, there was a lady that spoke for the Tea Party Express. I believe that that is a different organization than the Tea Party Patriots, because her statement was, whoever is up against Obama, that's who we'll support. Well, that's not who the Tea Party Patriots are. So stand and speak against this and talk against the Tea Party Express is a little different organization than Tea Party Patriots. That's something I do want to get out, because we stand for right. We stand for what is right, not what's almost right, but we're going to stand for what's right. And there is an absolute right and an absolute wrong. We have to stand. There are several things I like to go over today, and I talk about language change a lot, because language change is how they're getting you to kind of be quiet. Language change is how they're getting you to not talk. They're getting you to feel bad about words, political correctness. Well, I just like truth. I just like calling it like it is. I hate to see people sometimes fall all over and stumble over the words trying to call me African American. I'm black, I'm okay with that. I'm an American first, I'm a Christian, born again Christian, I stand for the Lord, and that's what you need to know about me. I think you can tell that I'm black. You don't have to worry about calling me African American. I wish that would just kind of get out of the way. All of the other political correctness. Illegal immigration is what we are against, not immigration, illegal immigration. We love for people to come here who are going to love America. We have great values. You work hard. That used to be it. It used to be you work hard and you made your way. Now people kind of want to make the way and make others work for it, and they sit aside. But that's not right. It's not biblical, and we have to stand against that as well. I like Frederick Douglass. I am part of Frederick Douglass Foundation as well, because sometimes the Tea Party gets labeled wrong. I was at a Tea Party in Raleigh, and they asked me, they were like, well, how do you feel about coming to talk to such a racist organization? I said, well, I don't remember seeing black people at the Fish concert, so maybe they're racist as well. But you know, that doesn't make the news. But it is the same concept. It doesn't mean that. We just have to get our information out, talk to people. Although there are a few people here, you are the fight. You are where it begins. You tell 10 people, tell 20 people what you believe. Start reading your history and knowing about the truth of our founding, knowing about, yes, there is a Peter Salem who fought in the Revolutionary War. There was many black people who fought to help free this country from England. And yes, there was slavery, but there was something good happening. There were abolitionists, and there was the Lord touching people's hearts, and people's hearts could change. And Frederick Douglass, who went around and he hated America, he hated what it was. And if you ever have the chance to read What is the 4th of July to a Slave, it will just inspire you that what one man who hated America, hated everything, hated the founders, once he finally read that great document, he decided that it was the best document that had ever been written by men, godly men. And he turned his whole speech around to talk about how great America was, because it wasn't a constitution that left slavery in. And by the way, there were only about 4 of the signers of the Declaration of Independence who had slaves. So, you know, stop the liberal argument right there. Let them know that John Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Rush, Benjamin Franklin, none of those had slaves, and actually Pennsylvania sent their slaves back. So they were like, this is not what we want to be a part of. But however, at the time, it was too complicated to address because they were trying to build a nation. And I think if you can reason with that, arm yourself with facts, then that's an argument you can't lose. Liberals like to let you know that they all have grand pedigrees, and they went to Harvard and Princeton. But you know what? If you got a sound argument, their pedigrees will never outweigh your argument. And you stand flat-footed with your faith and belief, and you tell them the truth, because the truth, as Ben Franklin said, will set you free. And that statement was written because in John 14:6, Jesus said that he was the truth. He was the way, the truth, and the light. So it's more than just not telling a lie truth will set you free, but our Christianity truth will set us free. And so we have to get back to those principles. And I love that we are talking about standing on truth. Frederick Douglass said that after Emancipation Proclamation and after they had fought and he was free, Abraham Lincoln asked, what can the government, what can we do to repay you for all these atrocities? And he didn't say, well, I think that my children should go to school free. He didn't say that I think that I shouldn't have to work. He said, nothing. Get out of my way. If we are indeed free, then let me be free to make my way. Isn't that a novel concept? We've kind of lost that today. You know why? Because freedom is hard. Freedom is very hard. If you think back and think about the things that government has done to our lives, from the intrusion of our schools, from the intrusion of work, from unions, roads, taxes, license, marriage license, all of that, the government has found a way to tax us, and especially in North Carolina. We're number 5 behind Massachusetts for most taxes, a southern state. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I leave you with a couple of things about truth, getting back to our foundation, having, I know there are a lot of Christians that I speak to who say we're going to pray about it, but God never told us to pray only. He told us to pray and work. Everybody he used was working and praying. You don't want to work without praying. It's putting on the full armor of the Lord. You can't go out without your helmet and only have your breastplate on. You need the whole thing on to go out and fight this battle, because we are at war. There is an enemy that is changing our lifestyle, that is changing our language, that is changing the way that Americans are. We are not having as many babies, but there is a group that's having more babies than we are, and that's Islamic nations. The Islamics are having babies more than we are, 7 to 2. 7 to 2. There are illegal immigrants that are coming here having more babies than our American loving people, and they are going to teach their children not to love America. If you love America, that's one thing. But they are hanging the Mexican flag in lieu of the American flag at schools in California. And they are being paraded for it. They are being praised for it. So we've got to get on the ball and have some babies. I'm doing my part. I want more people to do their part on having some American Christian babies. I'm going to leave you with, I love Patrick Henry. He was a devout Christian. He was a great, great, great founder who stood at all costs. And we all know that he said, give me liberty or give me death. But he also said, are we so disposed to be of the number of those having eyes and see and ear and see not, and ears having heard things and we hear not? Which so is nearly a concern of our temporal salvation. He said, for my part, whatever angry spirits it may cost, I am willing to know the whole truth. He said, to the worst of it, whatever the truth is, he said, and then I will provide for it. He said, there is no longer room for hope. For if we wish to be free, and we mean to preserve these privileges that we so long dear, we must fight. Not only must we fight, we must appeal to arms and to the God of hosts, for that is all left of us, to us. And I'm telling you today, you stand on truth today, because all the language is changing. Now I just saw this morning, you can't use gay anymore, because gay now means that you've called somebody lame or retarded. That's the NBA thing. So, it's all about acceptance. We fight against the marriage, same-sex marriage, because we want to preserve families. We want to preserve our children. We want them to grow up like we do. And so I'm asking you, go to your churches. Churches, don't be silent any longer. Churches have been silent far too long. To tell the truth. Tell the truth. Get the people armed. Because Isaiah 5:20 says, for woe to the people who call right wrong and wrong right. And if we don't step it up, woe be to us. Thank you.